Good morning, everyone. Sabah khair. My name is Tad Kruse, and I'm proud to serve as the Area Director for the Middle East, North Africa, and South Asia, or MENASA NASPA area. As Director, I am honored to welcome you to the 14th Annual Conference, and this, our first virtual area conference. Unfortunately, we were not able to connect face-to-face in Kuwait as originally planned for this event. But we are grateful to have this virtual forum to share, connect, and to learn. As communities and campuses around the world continue to take significant measures to protect the health and wellness of its members and our greater global society, it is important for us as educators to take a moment to step back and to reflect. You've likely seen things circulating on social media highlighting the positive aspects of social distancing and our current circumstances. For example, less air pollution, healthier eating habits, spending more time with family, having a greater work-life balance, and appreciating the little things and reflecting on what is important in our lives. I encourage you to take this time to explore the positive aspects of your professional life as well. Reflect on what you value, why you are in this profession, and what motivates you and your colleagues. Go beyond the simple everyday responses, finding what excites you and makes you passionate to be an educator. Student affairs and student services play a critical role in supporting campus communities under normal circumstances, but even more so during times of crises. The next 3 days are very special for us as professionals in the MENASA area because it gives us the opportunity to connect with colleagues from across the region and beyond, to dialogue, to exchange ideas, and to learn more about student affairs best practices. This forum provides a space to step out of our support roles, to help us gain perspective, to grow, and to recharge during this stressful period. Before we continue, I would like to acknowledge and thank a few groups. First, the American University of Kuwait for being our original campus host for the 2020 conference, and to all of our conference planning committee members. Second, a deep note of thanks to the many individuals who have supported the conference this year as organizers, program reviewers, and our presenters. My sincere thanks goes out to our NASPA colleagues, Ms. Tikia Yiku and Dr. Janelle Rains, who support us throughout the year, but are doing so in the middle of the night, US local time this week, to support our virtual conference. I would like to acknowledge the members of the MENASA Area Board who serve the area throughout the year. Thank you so very much for your ongoing efforts. Please note that we are looking for volunteers to join our growing MENASA NASPA Advisory Board, and we have several open roles, including country representatives. If you are interested, please contact me or a fellow board member. You can also join our MENASA Board open meeting as part of the conference closing on Wednesday morning at 11 a.m. Arabic Standard Time to learn more. Now back to the conference itself. The sessions as part of this virtual conference cover a wide range of topics, from professional and civic mindedness to specialty area topics and using technology to engage students. The major themes include self-care and supporting others, service and global citizenship, using online forums, technology to support students virtually, counseling, advising, and academic support, professional growth and pathways, and opportunities for networking. I encourage you to take this opportunity over the next 3 days to learn about a new topic, utilize the virtual session features to fully engage, and to make connections using the chat features. Overall, I hope you take advantage to connect with colleagues, taking a step back from the now common daily virtual meetings many of us have to create a space for self-reflection, for growth, and for learning. The ultimate goal is to help each of us find ways to better self-care and support both our colleagues and our students. The original theme of the on-site conference, Student Affairs and Services in the Post-Human Era, Opportunities and Challenges, is relevant given our current medium. The topic touches on our ever-changing global circumstances and dependency on technology, especially for each successive generation. One example that comes to mind is sending a document, a simple task. And what many of you will recall was the importance of the fax machine. Yes, like it or not, many of us remember, used, and may even still have fax machines. I recall a colleague many years back at her retirement dinner talking about the impact of the fax machine on sending documents from the US to Europe in the 1980s, and then how that began to give way to email attachments in the early 2000s. These were technological advances that reduced delivery times from weeks to days to minutes or even seconds, with significant financial savings. And now, in 2020, you can scan, edit, digitally sign, and send documents all from your smartphone, bringing ever greater convenience and mobility to our lives. Our 2020 conference chair from the American University of Kuwait, Dr. Hanan Muzaffar, will complete our brief opening remarks. Dr. Muzaffar, along with one of her AUK students, Ms. Lara Jadiel, have a pre-recorded presentation exploring the original theme of the conference. Following the presentation will be a session open forum on self-care and maintaining community connections for student affairs professionals. I encourage you to engage in this session, to engage in the dialogue, to make the most out of our opening session. And now I present to you Dr. Hanan Muzaffar and Ms. Lara Jadiel.
Please give us just a moment while we transition.
Hi, Tiki. We're enjoying actually the screen and the place and the guided meditation already, so don't worry.
Hello everyone, I hope you're all safe and taking care of yourselves and your loved ones. My name is Hanan Muzaffar. I'll be presenting to you today with Lara Jadiel. When the world needs us to maintain social distancing in order to heal, I'm glad we are in an age that allows us all these other options to communicate and stay connected. These latest events that force many of us to rely on virtual meetings and conferences, working from home and offering online services and education, made our theme, Student Affairs, glad we are in an age that allows us all these other options to communicate and stay connected. These latest events that force many of us to rely on virtual meetings and conferences, working from home and offering online services and education, made our theme, Student Affairs in the Post-Human Era, very relevant. I'm sure many universities are now looking into ways of connecting to the students, whether to offer online classes or other support services, in light of the need to prevent the spread of the virus by limiting real-time interaction among people. To prepare for this talk, I wanted to get a student's perspective. So I asked Lara here, one of our student employees, to conduct research in the field with 3 target questions. What is the post-human era? What distinguishes this generation from other generations in terms of their relationship to technology and social work? What is the connection between student affairs and technology? I leave you now with Lara presenting her topic, and I'll meet you again when she's done.
Thank you, Dr. Hanan, and hello, everyone. So the emergence and development of technology has directly impacted the way humans lead their lives. Whether it is within the field of medicine, communication, or entertainment, the influence of technology is indubitably present. From portable computers to genetically modified tomatoes, humans have entered into and are currently living in what is known to be life with technology. With such heavy reliance on technology, computers are becoming more like humans. Think of humanoid robot Sophia. And humans are becoming more connected to the machine in the evolving field of prosthetics, for example, as demonstrated to us in many social media accounts. This is what we call the post-human era, an era when human beings will be superseded by technical beings. It is a transformative state that humans are currently undergoing, specifically in how they are becoming less human through their interaction with and dependency on technology. This current generation, Generation Z, is born into technology and expect their campuses to offer technological access similar to those they are used to in daily life. They expect everything to be found and done using the internet connected to devices held in the palms of their hands. They may well ask why they can't reserve a meeting room online when they can go to any hotel chain in the country and reserve a guest room. They have a low no tolerance for being without digital resources. Thus, in contrast to past generations, students of this generation are opting for more technology usage as part of their modules. Due to their heavy reliance and usage of technology, Generation Z students expect a teaching environment in which they can interact in a similar way they do in their virtual worlds. This implies a demand for instant information, visual forms of learning, and replacing communication with interaction. As a Generation Z student myself, seldom do I resist using technology during class. The multifaceted nature of my laptop, for example, allows me to take notes while also defining terms like centrifugal force my instructor would mention in passing. I could pull up visuals of a triquetra and add a reminder directly onto my calendar of an upcoming quiz, all in one place and all in fairly the same time. Am I multitasking? Certainly. However, as a Generation Z student, I have to say that this instant and fast accessibility allows for a multi-dimensional class experience. It's an itch I could finally scratch the second I sense it, rather than having to wait 50 minutes to do so. The question I ask then myself is this: if my laptop, a technology considered as a fairly old invention, has been able to offer me this much assistance, this fast and comfortable assistance, how is modern technology assisting other more complex matters? I'll leave you now with Dr. Hanan to explore further.
Thank you, Lara. It's important to note that the posthuman notion presented here does not simply highlight the ways in which humans and machines or technology interact, nor does it merely underline the consequences associated with such an interaction. Rather, the posthuman movement highlights, along with other characteristics, the condition of human consciousness in association with the use of technology, and the body's ability to become more comparable with technology. I met one such comparable body last year. Listen to how 35-year-old Neil Harbison talks about how he adapted his body to overcome its inhibitions.
My name is Neil Harbison, and I'm a cyborg artist. I was fascinated about the elements that exist in nature that we cannot sense, and I was particularly interested in color because I was born completely colorblind, so I wanted to create an organ that would allow me to sense this element, color, but not only the visual part of color, also the invisible part, like infrareds and ultraviolet. I have an antenna implanted in my head that allows me to extend my perception from infrareds to ultraviolet. And I see this as a work of art implanted in the body. While merging with technology changed the way I perceived myself, I suddenly started sensing the antenna as part of my body and as part of my identity. So I suddenly started feeling cyborg, which is basically that I feel that technology is part of my identity.
Technology is part of his identity. This is the world our students see. They are very comparable to it. They are adapting very fast to the movement into this post-human era. They are fully post-human, more connected to sources of knowledge and support than we can even imagine. A few years back, my then 3-year-old niece was the one who taught me how to swipe up on YouTube and how to post on Instagram with one click. It isn't something they need to learn anymore. They are connected to the machine, more capable of reading it than any engineering guru who creates his or her user-friendly interfaces. As such, they become suspicious of our ability to provide them with the skills needed to do better and to move into adulthood, as demonstrated for us earlier by Lara. Last fall, we hosted a speaker as part of our leadership talks at AUK. The title of his talk was No Skill Set. He was telling our students that they don't need to have a particular type of skill to accomplish what they passionately want and desire. That all they need is their passion. He isn't wrong. And with examples of students who actually went beyond what we taught them in the classroom, or even beyond what we prepared them to as student affairs professionals, and accomplished successes, we still tell our kids and our students that they need a university degree to get. Needless to say, this speaker was a huge success with our students. Now, I'm not denying the role universities play in building characteristics needed to succeed. I am an academician after all. But it is becoming more and more difficult for our students, and maybe for us, to pinpoint that the university is what equipped them to be successful as such, at least not the university in its traditional sense. 35 hours of introduction to literature, and you are now ready to start your major English literature. Another 45 hours, and you now have specific knowledges and maybe skills to understand, analyze certain genres in the field or certain ages. You now can understand the development of the novel or the emergence of romanticism. 45 more hours, and you are equipped with the skills that allow you to prepare research in any field related to humanities. Lara, here is an example. Over the span of 4 years, students take up to 5 courses per semester and graduate. This enabled with maybe their role in clubs and organizations, attending a few career shops, maybe going to a UN conference or any other conference if they are lucky. And that's it. Success is in their hand. This is what we tell them. This is the plan we draw for them, telling them it's what they need to succeed. They no longer fully believe us. They are becoming critical of the educational model we grew up with. They are dissatisfied. And the result of this dissatisfaction shows itself in students not willing to take part in university life, students struggling emotionally, and students acting out in ways that are becoming more and more dangerous, exhibited in disruptive behavior in our part of the world, but manifesting itself even more dangerously in international universities. Mass shootings now are becoming something we are accustomed to hearing. Now, how do we, student affairs professionals, who are charged with maintaining the wellness of the students, how do we navigate all this? How do we engage a student in an academic setting they are no longer connected to, nor do they see its vitality anymore, whether as a source of information or a plan for a better future? Our students struggle, and we deal with their struggles in our counseling centers. We understand their frustrations, maybe more so than any other staff on campus. And we find ways to deal with these frustrations. We offer them programs, events, and activities. We provide them with leadership opportunities, art and music therapy rooms, tutoring centers, and connection to students who, like them, sat in these seats years ago and are now successful graduates. We adapt, and we help them to adapt to the rather stagnant role of academia. Stagnant not because academicians are not aware of all this, but because changes in academia are more difficult, more systematized, more bureaucratic. To our benefit, Generation Z students also care deeply about corporate social responsibility, which is probably the result of their own instant and constant connection to the world, what's happening around them. This generation expects companies to help solve social problems, saying that their personal belief in a cause a brand supports is important to them. Generation Z students is very concerned about the impact of poverty and hunger and prioritize it over issues of economic development. They care about the environment, human rights, and equality. And they believe that more diversity in society is a good thing. This makes what we do in terms of engaging our students and creating responsible citizens out of them, which is what most student affairs missions look into one way or another, a ready-made task with welcoming recipients. Because our generation is digitally connected, we have learned to adapt to them. We meet them via the different social networking tools that they use, be it Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, what have you, to communicate with them and engage them. I believe we, student affairs professionals, are readily equipped with the tools to reach this post-human student and our connection to them via different digital platforms, but also because of our viewpoint that already agrees with theirs and their interests and involvement in social responsibility. The map is built for us, and we will continue meeting in such conferences to come up with more ways to engage the students and more ways to connect to them, more ways to provide them with the support needed for their success. Thank you very much. Thank you, Lara.
Great. My thanks to Dr. Hanan Muzaffar and her student, Lara. Those are some great examples of how we live with technology and how it impacts our daily lives. Quite often we look at these devices that are with us in our purses, attached to our hips. We forget that they're an extension of ourselves, how we interact with the world, how we interact with our students, with our colleagues. Now we'd like to pivot and shift gears a little bit to the next section of our opening, and that is an open forum, moderated discussion. I want to remind our participants that this is an open forum discussion. So we ask you to please stay muted unless you are called upon to speak. We recommend that you use the raise hand function. So if you go to the bottom, click on the 3 dots in the menu, click on participants. At the bottom of the participant list, you'll see an icon for raise hand. You can also click on that same button to lower your hand once finished. We encourage you to add comments or questions in the chat feature throughout. Again, you can access that at the bottom of the screen via the 3 dots on the side of the participants. At this point, I would like to introduce our facilitator for our next 20 minutes or so for our open discussion, Ms. Tayseer Gaili. Tayseer, you're muted.
Unmute.
There you go.
How can you hear me now? Ted?
Yes,
We
we
can
can
hear
hear you.
you perfectly.
Okay, so am I sharing?
Yes, we are. You're on your second slide, Tayseer.
All right, sorry. Okay. So I think, I'm not sure that if I know everybody because I cannot see everybody, but I can see that the room is jammed and there's a lot of positive energy around my room. My name is Tayseer Gaili. I'm the acting director of the Student Counseling Center. And I'll be actually talking to you today about how we can take care of ourselves. Now, we cannot talk about self-care without talking about stress and anxiety, depression as we go along. And for us to be able to take care of ourselves, we need to actually be transparent. And, okay. Thank you, Dina, for muting. So we cannot talk about self-care without talking about stress, as I said, and anxiety, and we don't know how things will go. So there's so many other things that we need to tackle. But for now, we need to talk about our self-care and how can we increase resilience and how can we be prepared as professionals, as therapists. And we know as therapists that usually if a client comes in and we share the same issues, we usually transfer that client, but we cannot do that now because everybody's affected. So what shall we do? And that's basically what we're gonna do today. I'm just gonna go quickly on when we talk about stress, just for those who are not a therapist in the room. So we always talk about stress. Stress is not bad. We need stress for me to be able to get today to this room and set my computer. There's a lot of physical and psychological process that takes place for us to be able to deal with the stressor being a challenge, being a threat. Now, in this case, and in the case of COVID, we have both. We've got the threat and we've got the challenge. So usually this is the curve. For us to be able to perform our optimal performance, we need to maintain that curve. Now, without maintaining that curve, which is basically, we will talk about how we can do that, how can we increase the resilience, we want to make sure that we do not slide. And that's where the youth stress is basically usually the challenge, the happy, the good level of stress. With whatever is happening now, how can we control that? How can we control the stressors that we're having, the cumulative, the longevity, without going down? And at the same time, as therapists, maintaining that level without getting burnt out. So when we talk about the COVID stressors, I just picked couples because we're gonna have this as an open forum at the end. The main stressor is basically the uncertainty. the uncertainty of catching the virus. Do I have the virus? Do I have mild symptoms of the virus? Did I have the virus and it's gone? Am I going to carry it to my beloved ones? Do I have elderly homes do I have elderly at my home? Now, another big uncertainty is the impact. Nobody knows when is this thing's going to end? How is it going to end? So that uncertainty, the lockdown, a lot of countries around the world, they're having curfews, and a lot of people are staying in like one flat, no open air. A lot of people are sharing space with their like sisters, siblings. There's a lot of bad family arguments, and bad news is there for some of us. So when I see this slide, there's a lot of these stressors. They're not related per much to COVID, but at this time it is there. So basically, a lot of us have families and beloved ones away, and those who have families within, they have friction. A lot of us are missing our families, and at the same time, there's a lot of worries about the families and friends. Feeling alone or isolated for those who are locked down. Experiencing of conflicts in relationship, facing new or difficult nature at work, which is basically that what we're dealing now, that a lot of us, especially the counselors, we're so used to that humane in relationship, that encounter, that face-to-face, that warmth. Now we have to actually shift to online counseling, to tele-counseling, to phone counseling. The supermarkets, just as simple as the supermarkets, becoming a stressor. So bringing in a supermarket, you have to like, you know, disinfect for 3 or 4 hours just to get your coffee. Worrying about finances. So how do we know we're stressed? So there's like physical, cognitive, emotional, behavioral, social. And I'm not going to go into the details of that, but it will just flow because of the time. We need some time to interact at the end. So these are just like related to the COVID again, which is basically our emotions. And some of us here already have those emotions in the room, and some of them, our clients have it, and our family have it. So we're all going through a lot of stress. There's a lot of anxiety. We're scared. Some of us are like hurt, sadness, anger, guilt, helpless, restless. So with those emotions, there's a lot of emotions of anxiety, depression, stress, loss, there's some bereavement, there's grief. So there's so many emotions are surfacing. The thoughts that we're having, that there is danger and whatever I do is not enough. There's a lot of catastrophizing. What if, and what's the number? The behavior, I mean, like there's a lot of us are just actually now suffering from like hard skin because of the washing and the excessive cleaning and wanting to control. I am, at least. So we're not going to do the survey, but this is one of the mental health data. That's we use it here in Qatar for it is like validated and adopted to the Qatari culture. So just while I'm reading it, just I want you to think if this is what you have. So feeling nervous, anxious, or on the edge, not being able to stop or control worrying too much about different things, trouble relaxing, being so restless that it's hard to sit still, becoming easily annoyed or irritable, feeling afraid as if something awful might happen, and then we don't want the score. So now that we talked about the stressors, and I'm sure that if we had time, would have just like done some breathing, because I'm sure that with me talking, there's a lot of thoughts that came, and there's a lot of emotions that surfaced. There's a lot of thoughts that got attached. So just take a deep breath for now, and just let's just get us grounded for this slide, because we could do. Somebody's yeah, if you can all mute. I'm easily distracted, and it's just part of the stress. Okay. So I'm going to start with this. I'm sure that a lot of you know this quote. It's a serenity prayer. We say, God grants me that serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. And that's basically, we will like talk about
بداية هذه أسماء يعني نوع
للعبيد
ومن الناس من
You know what? It just goes so great with the slides. So whatever that is, if it's Quran that's gonna work for you, music, that's perfect. But let's just mute it for now. We think it's beautiful music. I don't know who's that. Who's that?
So we apologize for this, and we'll go ahead and try to mute this person. Thank you.
I don't know, but I don't know who's that. But at the end of the day, okay. I think again, it gave us some ideas on what people do. Some of us put on, some of us like listen to music, whatever works for you. But it just put a little bit down so then we can talk. I don't have to shout and wake everybody in the house. Okay.
Are we being bombed?
I believe we are. We are attempting to kick them out right now, and we're muting them as fast as we can.
All right. I'm being grateful for that. It was just getting really a bit too much. Okay.
No,
So
please forgive us, everyone. It turns out that it was somebody. Sometimes people hack into our systems, so just be aware of that and do keep yourselves muted. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Thank you, Courtney. All right, so it kind of also cheered us up a little bit, so that's not bad. We just want to say that we're going to be talking about just very quick, basic coping strategies. And while I say, I just want you to reflect on what is it that for you, all right? Now, this self-care, it's really cultural, but what I want you to focus on is basically the domains. So when I talk about, you can see it, or shall I? Okay, here. So there's a lot of things that probably won't apply for your culture, but that's okay. Because at this point, we're all experimenting, all right? We're all experimenting of different things. So when we talk about the psychological part, I want you to think about your self-reflection, your journaling, your self-awareness. Mainly, whatever works for you, like your like gardening, self-help books, whatever works for you in that. Okay. Now, emotional, I want you to think of that domain as in like when you sit with your like best friend. Okay, she wants to cry, she wants to laugh, whatever that is, whatever works for her. So I want you to do that. If we can laugh more, that would be perfect. If you want to think also in the emotional part of how can I be more empathetic? How can I be more compassionate? All right, to that special person, which is myself and those who are around me. Now, when I talk about the physical, I want you to think of whatever works for you, like exercises, stretches, whatever that, when it comes to eat healthy, sleep hygiene, all of these will come in that area. Now, when it comes to the professional, and I hope that the bosses are not around, but I want you to take it slow. We will talk about being selective in terms of what works for everybody. But in that, we need to always be kind of reflecting on what works for me. Am I the type, if I'm stressed, I want to work more? Do it. If I'm the type that when I'm stressed, I want to slow it down, I would assume, do that. The spirituality, again, it's always very cultural. So you can pray, you can meditate, you can sing, you can dance, whatever works for you. Like, just like the hacker now. Some of them were reading Quran, others were just listening to wild music, whatever works, whatever works. And then here's a time for the personal stuff, for you to find out who the real you, to find out, okay, I've been on the run for a long time, but who am I exactly? What do I want to be? So again, these are just like, I'm just throwing it on the floor for you to reflect on. So it's beautiful to have that communal feeling of we're all together in this. But at the same time, there has to be time for me. of shutting down completely from all of those social media. So I want to connect with my loved ones. I want to be kind, compassionate, but I want to have also my me time. Now, again, it's whatever works for you. I keep on emphasizing on that. There's the stress profile, which is basically how do you know your stress and what's your coping strategies, and bingo. Now, reframing your anxiety-provoking thoughts is very, very important. Asking yourself, why am I having what I'm having? What is it that I'm having? And those questioning, I was like, okay, does it make sense? Does it make sense? Slowing down versus creativity. Oops, sorry, but it doesn't matter. Okay, slowing down versus creativity, as I just mentioned. And what is it that you value? What is important for you? And what can you do for yourself and those who are around you and beloved ones? This is basic, but again, with each one, we can go to the details that can take time, but I just want you to reflect on how do you eat, what do you eat, and especially that we're all locked out now, we're just eating a lot, but it would be very good to find out, it's like, what is it that you're eating? It's not only about healthy food, it's like, how are you eating it? Why are you eating it? Are you aware that you're eating it? And it's very helpful in that to think of yourself as being curious all the time. You don't want to get bored of the same food. And again, you're not going to do shopping. You're not gonna, there's no takeaways. There's no restaurants. So always have that curiosity within. You're investigative. What is it? Is that salad? How does it taste? Times that you never had that time to reflect on the things that you do all the time. You have time now to do that. So being mindful in the way you eat, the way you sit, the way you talk, it's very important these days. And then sleeping hygiene, it's very, very important. The room temperature, basically, what time do you go to bed? Did you have your caffeine before? Do you have your herbal stuff? Did you do your aromatherapy? Do you take a shower like before that? What is it that will help you to sleep well? Because it's very, very important that you sleep well and you sleep deep. So did you, whatever that, again, whatever works for you. Some people will put some Quran, others will put some, like, applications to slow down with the sleep. Setting a schedule, so because we're not going to work, but it's, again, whatever works for you. You want to, like, sleep again early and wake up early. You set that. I know that a lot of people are working on a flexi time. Flexi time is good, but also think about it as like, okay, there has to be an end to that. So you cannot have 5:30. That's it. This is your time after that with a family. Social media, cutting down on social media. Now, engaging in physical activity, I mean, like, if you can take the screenshot of Tiki or that one, it's just whatever will allow you to relax and enjoy that mindfulness of breathing, stretches, yogas, and a lot of people are doing it actually through Zoom as well. Now, this is very important. I know that the time is running, so I'm just gonna say it very quickly, and then we can give them the resources, the self-help resources. But ACT, which is basically the acceptance and commitment therapy, is very, very useful in a time for dealing with an anxiety that is there. It will be there. It might be more, and other emotions. So they have this face COVID. How do I face COVID? Which is basically focus on what you're in your control again. We cannot think of what is it that in my control. I cannot control the virus, but I can control how the amount of time that I'm going to see it. How am I going to see it? Okay, acknowledge your thoughts and feelings. We're not going to challenge it. It is there. It is there. It's going to be there. All you're going to do is just basically acknowledge it. What am I feeling now? Is it fear? Is it anxiety? Is it sadness? Try to name that emotion, and then come back to your body. How do you come back to your body? You can just use I'm just saying it quickly because the manual can be very helpful for you later. You come back to your body, you look into how you're sitting. You can just basically move your fingers, whatever will ground you. So you want to be grounded, and then you want to focus on what is it that I'm doing now. I know that's very quickly, but it's just at the time. Now, again, committed action goes to the values. What kind of committed actions you want to have? Opening up. Do not shut your emotion. Do not shut that. Whatever the emotions are, name it, write it, journal it, have friends and therapists and talk about it. Do not shut down your emotions. And then again, what is it that you values? Identify your resources, whatever that is, your counseling center on campus. There's a lot of hotline around the countries. There's actually therapists outside with webinars. So whatever that is, disinfect and distance, and everybody by now know what to do. So again, whatever works for you, I will take care of myself today, every day, the way I want and the way that works for me. Controlling breathing, I cannot say enough about that because it works. We don't know if other things work, but this thing works. So there's a lot of, resources we'll send you on how to take deep breath and how to be doing mindful breathing. And then how to stay positive. And I just love how this whole thing started. So being positive, how to like change your thoughts. We're not gonna go through that, but it's just basically, again, how can you control your thoughts from being, okay, what if, to just the here and now, and being grounded, not taking it personal. Everybody's going through that. How can you, what's your role in that? How can you get yourself grounded in the moment and the here and now? Okay, I know that I have to basically end this. Again, just the last thing I just want to say is just how to be compassionate, kind, and to remember that we're just giving you whatever we know. There's like CBT, there's so many things we could do, we could try, but it's only you who would know and tell us what works and what you've tried it and worked with you at this moment. It's been already for some people 8 weeks, some people were like more than that. So it is cultural, but what works for you at this moment, please share it, and we're going to open the floor for that. Okay. So, oops. I don't know why something stopped working. Am I still with you guys?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. So I'll open the floor for and then somebody is going to facilitate that, right? In terms of who's going to go first.
Sure, there are many people who have written into the chat already. Some friends say that they connect with family and friends daily via Zoom. Someone else said that they light candles every day at 5 p.m. to honor all of the people who have lost their lives due to COVID-19. Other folks say, I clean everything, at least to know that I'm doing something that is within my own control. Someone said, I make cooking videos and spend time with my kids and my cats. My kids were asking me yesterday that they thought that you are like our mom and feel like you are our sister or a friend. Someone else meditates once a week for at least 20 minutes. Someone engages themselves fully with their kids and some physical exercises. Dr. Courtney takes a daily walk. Some folks are feeling pressure as they're very, very busy at work. Someone else has found their love of playing the guitar. So they've been playing the guitar and a mouth organ, which is another musical instrument. Tad creates a daily routine and does side projects like, working for NASPA all the time to take the place of other activities he would be doing. Another person says that they take walks daily and they make sure to spend time with their family, even though they're working from home. And of course, someone says they pray as much as they can and talk to others and help that they know that they're safe and that others are thinking about them. Someone else is very busy with their kids and distant learning, and other folks are taking other ways to develop their skills. Someone else is doing art, and they're doing a lot of volunteer work to help them pass the time. I think I'm all kind of caught up right now, and someone else is working spreading positive tips to their students is helping them as well.
Beautiful. Okay, Thank you so much. And just for the therapist, I'm just gonna say be kind to yourself and always check with each other. We don't want you getting burnt out, and we're all there for each other. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tayseer. We really appreciate you covering this topic with us, and I want to thank everyone for sharing what they're doing in their lives to help deal with this stressful time. So as we look to the top of the hour, which is almost upon us, again, I want to thank Tayseer. I want to thank Dr. Hanan and Lara, who contributed to the opening session this morning. Up next, we have 2 sessions. The first one is a simple framework to help students develop critical thinking and problem-solving skills. And the second is from student to student affairs, developing early channels into the profession. I think we will start these probably about 5 minutes past the hour, just to make sure that we have enough time for people to transition. You will need to go into a new room, so make sure that you check your schedule and click on the link associated with the session that you would like to attend. It looks like the session schedule is not popping up on the screen, but you should have those in your email. You do not have to attend the sessions you might have originally registered for. So throughout the next 3 days, feel free to navigate back and forth to whichever sessions you feel are the best fit based off your interest in your availability. So again, I want to thank all of our participants in the opening session. We encourage you to stay engaged, to connect. Please use the chats and the other ways that you can virtually connect using the Ring Central software. And we hope that you have a great conference. Please join us on Wednesday for the closing as well. Have a great day.